All right, you guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Ariana, and I'm super excited for today's video. I'm here to talk about the natural hair movement. What I'm here to talk about today is actually some of the problems or issues that I've seen throughout the natural hair community, okay? So I think it's just like really important for us to educate ourselves on the myths, on the lies, on being able to promote diversity within the natural hair community. You know, everyone deserves to be able to embrace and celebrate their natural hair without being burdened by harmful misconceptions. So I say this because there's so many people out here that like to, I don't know, speak down on certain hair types within the natural hair community. Speak down on certain hairstyles within the natural hair community. Everything is about perception. So the first one I'm going to talk about is texture discrimination. Now, I know I've touched on some of these things before, but I definitely feel like this is something that has been around, and it's I don't know when things are going to change with how people see and view texture. Different texture curls, different textured black hair. Texture discrimination refers to the preferential treatment or bias towards certain hair textures within the natural hair community. So a lot of people are discriminated against because they have coarser hair, you know, tighter curl patterns, often being devalued or less desirable, you know, sometimes. Like, I definitely have heard, you know, other sisters out there talking about how they feel less valued by men, by our own men, by having much coarser, thicker hair. This can lead to a lot of self-esteem issues for us as women, you know, when we feel like certain black women gets more praise over their natural hair than somebody else does because of their hair texture. It does also create a lot of division within the community, you know, people saying that's this type of natural hair and this is this type of natural hair. We can't come together because we both not the same. No, we are the same. We're all black. Like in the natural hair community, we're black women, you know, who are trying, and I'm not going to say that the whole natural hair community is full of black women, but for the majority of it, it's known for black women, you know. The base of it was for black women, you know. The natural hair movement was for us to be able to basically come back into learning and loving our natural hair, you know, for what it is. Number two, with different things going on in the world, you guys, inclusive has been a word that has been highly used, okay? Like I've said, the natural hair movement has gained so much momentum within the years, but it's only with certain types of hairstyles. Like, I'm gonna be putting in here like different hairstyles that I see that are praised more than other hairstyles, and it's something that we need to understand that needs to change, you know. And I'm putting it out there because people with like 4C hair, they may feel marginalized or excluded from certain natural hair care practices, you know. There's not enough information out there for women with 4C hair, you know. And for me personally, I don't have 4C hair, you know. So that's why another thing is, I'm just gonna say this, like, this is kind of off topic, but I definitely want people, when you come on here as a girl, you know, with your natural hair, you have to try to find somebody that has the same type of hair texture as you. And so that does mean that we do need more women with 4C hair posting videos talking about your journey. Like, we need to hear, you know, more women with different curl patterns and curl types, so that we have more women that are able to be educated by this information. Because like for me, like, I have more 3C 4A probably hair, you know, because it is very thick, but it's just not as tight, you know. And that's not all women. So it's going to be the women that can use the same products as me, that has the same curl pattern or hair texture as mine, you know. So you want to be able to look at something that represents you for what your natural hair texture is, you know. And so that's what I want to say just real quick. If you coming on YouTube or any other site, you know, find somebody that represents you for what you actually look like, you know. Because you can't come on here with 3C hair and trying to have the same results as a 4C girl, or the 4C girl can't try to become have the same results as a 3B girl, you know? So it's like, it's different. So it's always good that we have these type of platforms, you know, because we do have a chance to be able to educate other women, but we need more women to be able to do it. Like, we need more women to be able to wear their hair natural to represent all hair types. So the next one is colorism, number 3. Colorism is actually based on skin color. And I wanted to say this. I'm gonna just speak on the rapper. What's her name? Ice Spice. Now, she's a pretty girl. She wears her hair natural. And honestly, some people say, oh, I don't know if that's just like a wash and go, or she washes it, puts something in it, or she actually manipulates her curls, or their heat curls. I honestly don't know. I never like actually freaking looked it up if that was, you know, heat curls or not. But I do know that she wears her hair curly all the time. And that's not something you usually see, right? But people think that because she is light-skinned, so it works, excuse me, for her. Now, if there was another woman, darker skin, right? Would she be getting as much praise as Ice Spice if she wore her hair in 4C tight, super tight curls? You know what I'm saying? Would she be able to get the same recognition? Sometimes in this day and age, she wouldn't, because people go for the looser curl pattern. And when it comes with the light skin privilege, and it's like, there isn't a actual light skin privilege, but people think that there is, because of women that are of that skin tone getting more praise when they're wearing their hair natural. And some individuals may face a lot of discrimination or bias on because of the color of their skin, so they're automatically going to get biased because of their hair type, you know. And that actually goes around within the community, and it's crazy because it perpetuates like false beauty standards, and this really shouldn't be any type of beauty standards at all anyway, like, because everybody's different. Everybody likes different stuff. Like, you could like one person for how they look, and you could like a totally different person for how they look. Like, there's no type of way that somebody is supposed to look. This is another one I spoke on before, lack of representation, okay, and diversity. Number 4, this is important because, like I said, we don't see enough of us darker skinned women wearing our hair natural in the media, wearing our hair natural, you know, just out in the world in general. You know, we need to have more women out there with different hair textures in the mainstream media, so that our little girls and all the women that look at so much media can be able to get a taste of what they look like, you know, and actually being able to say like, oh, I can make it while wearing my hair natural. I can make it in the world with the 4C hair texture. So instead of like us getting so rattled up by black women that are half black, T and Tamara MOWRY, let's stop getting riled up over them for representing their natural hair for what it is, and let's just encourage other black stars to start wearing their hair natural. You understand what I'm saying? Like, instead of getting on people for doing something that a lot of women won't even have the courage to do, let's go ahead and clap for them. Thank you for representing what, you know, black and white hair would look like. Now let's see some more black women showing us what black hair looks like. Where y'all at? Where y'all at? You know what I'm saying? Like, where y'all at? So we need to be able to actually encourage more women to wear their hair natural instead of getting down on the women that's actually doing it, because it's not right. Just like just like I said before, T and Tamara MOWRY, they did not ask to have the hair texture that they have. They did not, they didn't even see it too much when they were growing up. Regardless if they're black and white, they didn't even see as much black hair or curly textured hair in the mainstream media when they were growing up, just like they said. So regardless of what you're trying to say about them, they're still trying to represent their natural selves, okay? So let's just get that out there in the air. And we gotta stop having so many beauty standards when it comes to natural hair. Like, this is another problem within the natural hair community. We like to pick and choose, like, who can be natural, like, or who represents natural hair, this, that, and the third. Mind-boggling to me how people made so many videos coming at Tia, or whichever sister it was, Tia or Tamara MOWRY, for making the real, you know. And like I said in my video, I see why people will be mad, but then again, I don't think that it should be a problem for her to be able to come out with hair care. Like, dang, like, you think it's only fully black women in the world? No. Like, there are other mixed women that do want things that work for black and white hair texture. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to stop being so divided within the natural hair community where we get this type of hate towards our own people, regardless if she's mixed, okay? Because I know there's people on here one person comment like, they're mixed. Don't say they're black. They're mixed. They're mixed. Okay. Like, let's stop it. Let's calm down for real, because we should be getting mad at the other black women in the media who is not representing what we really look like. Okay, putting in the bust down weaves, putting in all the braids. Like, braids are cool. They're natural hairstyles, but we still don't see this. We don't see this, you know, for the most part. We don't see it. There's nobody doing wash and goes and then going to an interview. They doing the wash, go, blow dry, and the straighten. That's for the most part. So let's start actually encouraging more women to show us more representation of natural hair for all of us. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, let's get back on topic. So the last two I'm gonna get into, you guys, I wasn't trying to make this video too long, but it's internal division and conflict. So there's a lot of debates and disagreements, problems that kind of arise internally within the natural hair community, or the women that consider themselves a part of like a natural hair community or movement, because there's so many different topics when it comes to hair care techniques, styling methods, product recommendations. So it can sometimes lead to like tension and hostility. So that's why I made my point of like finding somebody who actually represents natural hair, you know, that you have, because you can't have hostility for some girl on here who is like me. You can't be mad at me for coming on here and showing you guys the products that work for my hair just because it doesn't work for yours. Okay? You can't be mad that there's one girl that can do a wash and go with her hair texture or her hairstyle or how healthy her hair is, but you probably can't with the same products, or vice versa. So we have to be able to have more love within the natural hair community of women. You know, we just need more love shown towards all hair types and textures. You know, I think that's where we need to be headed within the next few years, because it will show. I'm all about the next generation. Like I always say, like, it's more little girls out there that would love to hear information on how to have healthy natural hair, you know, no matter what the texture is. It's just about learning your natural hair. So we have to not be so, we can't single people out, you know, for not having a specific type of natural hair. Okay, we have to love all of us. We all have to be loved the same. Okay, and the last one is misinformation and lack of education. So while the natural hair community may be a valuable source for a lot of us, like a lot of women, it may also be proliferation of misinformation. Okay, and the lack of education about proper hair care practices. So it can lead to a lot of confusion, you know what I'm saying, like potentially to harm individuals' hair health if they follow incorrect and harmful advice. That's why I talk about relaxers, you guys. That's why I talk about, you know, these chemicals that we put in our hair. And I'm gonna give my advice, like what I think about it. My mom, you know, had relaxers when I was growing up, and then she grew out of getting relaxers done at, I don't know, when I was like 10, 11, 12 years old. And so then I was able to really see her hair texture. She was able to see her own hair texture and started loving her natural hair. So she wears her hair natural, you know. And I'm not saying that anybody has to jump from relaxers to wearing their hair natural. It's just being educated on what's good and what's not good. That's why I put the last video up. If you haven't seen that, I'm gonna need you to go look at that before you hang up from this one. Before you hang up, go ahead and take a peek. Because that video is very interesting, how somebody actually put relaxer on a person who was traumatized from relaxer. Make sure you guys go look at that video if you guys haven't already, because it's very interesting, okay, to see. Anyway, So I just wanted to say, like, it's important to note that a lot of these issues I spoke on are not always like catered towards everyone. So it doesn't mean that everything that I said is something that revolves around the entire natural hair community. It's just certain, you know, certain practices and certain advice that's given. You know, you definitely want to just explore it, research it, see if it works for you. So lastly, I'm just saying the natural hair movement did not fail. You know, it's still going. We just need a little tweaking, you know, around a little bit more, a little bit more love up in here.